Hey everyone, Casey here. Just wanted to explain that I'm starting a new mini-vid series where I'll be covering 1 to 2 cases, most of them solved or updated recently, so that there's a break from all the unsolved cold cases. It's good to have a little hope that one day these cases could be solved. Without further ado, here's the mini-vid. Mary Hague Kelly. Mary Hague Kelly was a 78-year-old woman who in January 1989 lived alone at 411 North Francis Street in Oak Cliff, Dallas, Texas. One day, the police were called to perform a welfare check. She wouldn't answer the door, but luckily a relative used a spare key to enter the residence, afraid she was having a medical emergency. Upon entering her home, police discovered her lifeless body, naked from the waist down and partially hidden under a bed. It's some pretty horrible stuff. After performing an autopsy, the Dallas County examiner ruled her death a homicide caused by strangulation. She was suspected of being a victim of robbery because some stuff from her house had been missing and her car had been stolen. Pawn shops were looked at to see if any of her items had turned up, but that never brought any new information. People were also interviewed, but the case quickly stalled and went cold, with no promising suspects or leads. In 2004, the case was revisited and DNA evidence was actually collected. However, testing brought back no results. Remember, this was the mid-2000s, so DNA was not helpful unless you had other samples to compare it to, or unless a DNA match was already in CODIS. Then in 2021, the Dallas PD partnered with Othram Labs, a Texas-based forensic lab, which used genetic genealogy tests on the DNA sample. Through this process, a suspect was named to be 53-year-old David Rojas, was actually the next-door neighbor to Mary. On July 22nd of 2022, Dallas PD arrested Rojas and charged him with capital murder. He is now being held at the Dallas County Jail on a $750,000 bond. It took 3 decades, but this case was finally solved. The Season of Justice, which helps law enforcement with the funds for advanced DNA technology, actually gave them a grant to cover Othram's lab fees. Leighton DeAntoni, Assistant District Attorney from the Dallas County DA office, had this to say about partnering with Othram. As soon as we discovered the investigative breakthrough potentials FGG offered, working with Othram and Season of Justice became a no-brainer. The results across the country speak for themselves. Gary Lee White. Gary Lee White was a 67-year-old man from Jackson, Mississippi. He was born on August 29, 1952. On September 19, 2019, a set of human remains was found on the roof of an abandoned building on the 800 block of Barthas Street in Biloxi, Mississippi. There was no type of identification found with the remains, which led to him being labeled as a John Doe. It wasn't until 2 years later, on August of 2021, that the Biloxi Police Department, Harrison County Coroner's Office, and the Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Office partnered with Othram Labs, who performed genetic genealogy on a DNA sample and determined that the John Doe was Gary Lee White. Now, this is a newly developing case, as when Gary was found, there was no manner of death declared. Now that they know his identity, they can investigate what his circumstances were and why he would have been on that roof in the first place. Hopefully there will be an update soon and his loved ones can have some more answers of what happened to him. Hey everyone, thanks for watching this new mini vid. I'll have my regular video out later this week, just as always. Bye-bye!